It's hard to discern the truth about someone by simply talking to them. In fact, the words spoken can often be manipulated to be unclear. However, body language is the one single thing no one can escape from, and it often presents itself through subconscious behavior, catching most people unaware of their actions. This perfectly applies to women, who typically try to hide or even mislead others about their true feelings. One of the major issues with body language is that it takes a somewhat trained eye to spot, and most people often neglect this. In this video, we look at 21 body language facts you'll notice when a woman is sexually attracted to you. Why is body language important? The most important reason for the body language studies is that it's one of those markers that's extremely hard to control. You see, controlling your own body language takes a lot of conscious thinking, and in many cases, it often involves being very congruent. This is something most people struggle with. Since it's extremely hard to control body language, many people simply just ignore it, and once again, revert to their natural body language. Since it's so hard to control, people can use this as markers to determine several things about someone, including their levels of sexual attraction. The complicated part about body language is that it's a very long and intricate field of study. Much like psychology, it does involve people being very aware of what's happening around them, and it also means that you should be conscious. Since most people live their own lives oblivious of what's going on around them, this can give you the edge. If you want to understand whether or not a woman is sexually attracted to you, the following 21 facts are things you need to look out for. These are sure to help you better understand when a woman likes you or when you should cut your losses and move on. Swaying of her hips. Women naturally understand that there's a certain way they can walk that men find highly attractive. However, the problem with swaying the hips so much is that even the men who she doesn't like will notice. This has led to women stopping this, only reserving it for the kind of men she truly likes. If you happen to notice that each time you talk to a specific woman, she's constantly swaying her hips a lot, it's one of the most important signs. You see, she's doing this to make herself look more attractive to you. It often happens subconsciously, which is the main reason why it's rarely picked up. But if you notice a woman swaying her hips after you've had an encounter or you've started getting to know each other better, it's one of the main determining factors that she likes you. Number 2, the slight shoulder shrug. Women tend to have a very slight shoulder shrug that is often a way of her showing you that she's a little more vulnerable. This is naturally a kind of soothing behavior, which involves a woman moving her shoulders as a way of hiding her neck. This is done when she feels a little intimidated by you and doesn't directly apply to sexual attraction as many of the others do. However, respect and being dominated is one of the major things that women find very attractive. Once she's shown you this level of submission, there's a massive chance that she might actually be into you. Number 3, constantly checking herself. One of the most important things men need to realize is that a woman naturally believes that men are very judgmental. Yes, some men tend to be, but they're not as critical as women. However, women still believe that men can be critical. When she doesn't have any feelings for a guy, or simply doesn't care, she'll have no incentive for her to dress up and make herself look incredible. However, when a woman has fallen for you and she's attracted, her appearance is something that's constantly milling around in her mind. One way to see this is to notice how often she checks herself. You might find her staring into the reflection of a window or even asking to use the restroom frequently. The only reason she's doing this is for the next fact you need to watch out for. Number 4, frequent makeup touch-ups. The reason she's checking herself in the mirror so frequently is to make sure that she's still looking her very best. You see, makeup can be a daunting thing, and it can occasionally smudge or even hurt someone's look. Women realize just how important makeup is, and this is why they frequently touch up. However, she'll only be so focused on touching up her makeup if she likes you. You see, women can be brutal, and when they don't like someone, they really don't care what they look like. But if you notice her frequently applying these touch-ups, it means that she values your opinions. Number 5, your lips become a focal point. The next one's a little harder to decipher. In fact, it can be hard to determine where someone's looking when they're staring at you. However, if you have a few friends to assist you, they should be able to determine where she's looking. You see, women love physical contact in the form of kissing, so you'll readily notice that she frequently stares at your lips when you're speaking, and this is a very clear sign of sexual attraction. Number 6. Raised eyebrows with lowered eyelids. Have you ever noticed that women love making the puppy eyes? You see, the main reason women love doing this is because they understand exactly how attractive this seems to men. Men have this fantasy of women with big eyes, and this is exactly why women do this. In fact, most women tend to do this inadvertently, and they'll raise their eyebrows significantly as a way to enlarge their eyes. A woman will do this directly in front of you when talking. However, you need to make sure you notice this. It can also be one of those things that's easy to miss. Number 7. Showing the underside of her wrists. This is one of the most interesting signs that a woman likes you, but you need to understand that exposing the underside of her wrists is a way of showing vulnerability. In fact, women tend to know that showing vulnerability is something men desire, especially since most men have a savior complex. This sign by itself is not complete, but when you notice a woman exposing the undersides of her wrists, it's a very clear sign that she does have some sexual interest. It naturally means that she's submitting to you, and she's willing to trust you with things. Number 8. Having a limp wrist. Another very natural feminine quality is having a limp wrist. You see, women tend to understand that this is something men find highly attractive. In fact, whenever you see a model or a woman doing something, she often has a limp wrist. And the reason why men find this so attractive is somewhat unknown. When you notice this, it's once again not a standalone sign of sexual attraction. However, it works with many of the other signs on this list. In fact, you always need to make sure that of all these signs, you have at least 3 or 4 present to ensure that you're not missing things. Number 9. Twirling her hair. When a woman is twirling her hair, it's another one of those self-soothing actions. However, it also naturally shows attraction, and women do this as a way of encouraging you to make some sort of move. The twirling of the hair is a universal sign of attraction, especially when it's combined with some of these other signs on the list. Number 10. Exposing her neck. When it comes to extremely critical signs and somewhat sensitive signs, we need not look any further than nature. You see, one of the most important things for animals to protect is their necks. In fact, you often see animals always go for an attack around the neck due to their natural vulnerability. Well, the exact same thing is true for human beings. You see, when people flinch, they often protect the face and neck. Women also naturally understand that the neck is one of the most common weaknesses and also a natural target for men. However, when she finds you attractive and might desire something more, she will expose the neck. If you notice her exposing her neck, you can play your cards right and use this as an invitation. Interacting with the neck is a powerful way to turn her on as well. Number 11. Leaning into conversations. A great way to see if someone's attracted to you is to watch them when someone is having a conversation with them. You can naturally see whether the other person enjoys the conversation, and this is a great way to gauge attraction. You see, when we like someone, we're more inclined to lean into them when they're talking. Women also do this, and you'll notice that when you're having a conversation with a woman, she will lean into you. It might even suggest that she's open for a kiss. Number 12. Shifting her body toward you. Much like leaning into conversations, another truly important thing to note is that women will shift their entire angle toward you if they like you. In fact, it's very natural for two people to directly face one another and point their bodies toward the other person when having a conversation. You'll notice that women will always be moving themselves to directly point themselves toward you when they like you. Number 13. She is more revealing. Whilst many might argue that this is a body language sign, it's something worth keeping in mind. You see, when a woman likes you, she's far more likely to wear something revealing. Women understand that certain men need some encouragement to make the move, and this is one way she can force this. Now, this sign might only present itself after a few dates. However, when you meet a woman in a bar or club and she begins to reveal herself more, it could be a sign that this woman finds you very attractive. Number 14. She moves closer to you. Whilst leaning toward you is great, it often doesn't involve her moving. However, another truly fascinating sign that women will often show is how they start closing the distance between you. If a woman likes you, she'll naturally want to occupy space as close to you as humanly possible. You might find her sitting next to you, and in a few rare cases, she might even ask you to sit on your lap if there's no space around. One thing you need to understand is that humans will want to be as close to the person they like as they possibly can be. Number 15. She seems in a dream world. Women who like you will naturally fantasize, and in some cases, she might even do this directly in front of you. When you're talking to a woman and she seems like she's in a dream state, but when you talk to her, all responses are calm and lovable, it's a very clear sign of sexual attraction. Women will naturally want to think about how life would be with you, and for this reason, she's also looking to think about it when she has time. Women don't do this with random guys. Number 16. She makes sexual jokes. Since sexual conversations can often be very serious, it's a topic that people tend to avoid. One of the main reasons for this kind of avoidance is the fact that people do not understand that things can actually be a joke with no other meaning. Women refrain from making many of these jokes due to men not understanding them or their meaning. This means that when she opens up about this subject or she's making a few jokes about it, she's willing to move in such a direction with you. Sexual jokes and conversations can be a great sign that a woman is highly interested. Number 17. Submits by looking down. Another sign of a woman liking you is whether or not she's willing to submit. You see, men are natural leaders, and this means that a man should also lead the conversation. Eye contact is a way of showing some kind of respect, and we tend to make eye contact with others around us to show them respect. However, women cannot make eye contact with a man they like. This means that she'll often look down to the ground or in any other direction as a way of showing that she submits. You want a woman who is willing to submit, which means that she's actually respectful of your leadership and authority. Number 18. She leads you on. Women have a knack for flirting, and this knack for flirting is one of the most important parts of their plan to get the perfect guy. One of the most common signs that a woman likes you is often when she's leading you on. You see, when a woman leads you on, it does open the door for many more things to come. Being led on by a woman can manifest itself in a variety of ways. Some of these have been discussed in this video and in some of the prior videos on this channel. In fact, we frequently make content about how women lead men on, so be sure to subscribe. Number 19. She does things for you. Another sign that directly implies that a woman likes you, or at least that she respects you a lot, is when she begins doing things for you without you even asking. You see, women refrain from doing any favors for men or even just doing things. The main fear is that men might misinterpret this as more than a kind gesture. Once again, it means that since women have stopped doing this randomly, that now actually means something. If she's doing things for you, or even going as far as surprising you with things, you can be pretty sure that she's naturally attracted to you. But what about texting? Number 20. She responds frequently. One of the hardest ways to judge body language is via texting. However, it's one of the most important parts of dating, and you'll find that many of your initial interactions take place via texting. Life is simply too busy for people to frequently see each other. One of the ways to see if a woman likes you is by the frequency of her responses. If a woman's always responding and ready to talk, you won't need to seek any further information about whether she likes you. This means that there is certainly something there. Number 21. She touches you. Finally, a woman who likes you will want to break the contact barrier as soon as possible. These women know that many men are fearful of breaking such a barrier, which means that it's easier for her to do this. When a woman doesn't mind touching you or breaking this barrier, it almost certainly means that she likes you. Attraction is not that complicated, and in many cases, women have the exact same behavior as men. The only real difference is the fact that they're slightly more reserved. But you also need to know how to turn a woman on, and we recommend watching this next video.